Check out the Comic Outlaw on YouTube. Throw us a like and subscribe, and if you got any suggestions on what you want to see, we may put it on the screen for you. Yeah. And we're going to take you back to the 80s. Masters of the Universe. That's right. He-Man. Yep. We're going retro. We're doing Image. Masters of the Universe. So let's get started, yeah? And it starts off at Snake Mountain, the home of the evil, malevolent Skeletor, as he goes over his plans to take over Eternia. For years and years, he's been trying to get at the castle's gates, trying to learn the secrets and the power of Grayskull in order to add it onto his own power. Yes, he must have it. He must have the power of Grayskull. He must take it all for himself. But yet he's been foiled time and time again by He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. And it's starting to frustrate him, burn inside of him, and he must find a way to steal his power for himself. But yet he does not see his kingdom unraveling, and that a new person may arise to take his place at the throne of Snake Mountain. While he makes his new plans to conquer Grayskull, and through that all of Eternia, someone else in the wings, someone else in Snake Mountain is going for Skeletor's throne. She is Evil Lyn, sorceress of evil, and she's planning something. For too long she's suffered under the yoke of Skeletor, and now she plans to break free and take the power for herself. And yet, she still needs an army. She needs recruits. But Skeletor doesn't realize how many people are actually disloyal to him now. His obsession has blinded him to that. But Evil Lyn sees an opportunity. She sees an opportunity to sit herself on the throne of power. But all it's going to take some time and a little aid from this crystal. These crystals have magical properties yet to be seen. They amplify power, but at a cost. At a very, very grave cost. Meanwhile, we take you to another part of Eternia where our lovable magician Arco is wondering why he has so much power, that he's a great magician in his world, but in this realm he's barely a buffoon and his magic slightly works. He's trying to work it out in his head, and he keeps practicing, he keeps trying new tricks, but they always keep backfiring. Take, for example, he goes and talks to Man-at-Arms, basically the man who builds everything, the man who invents everything, and kind of the moral anchor of the group. And Arco tries to help him out by doing his little razzle-dazzle, and boom, the circuits kind of jump up and tangle Man-at-Arms. And this seems to happen to Man-at-Arms a lot, when Arco is doing something, and of course he tries to do his tricks, amongst the people, and basically the illusion turns and everything starts to explode. And this is just par for the course for Arco. Every time he tries to do something, it sort of works, and then kaboom, it backfires. It's even gotten to the point where the king and queen have kind of forbid him from doing magic with groups of people around. That way he doesn't cause any damage, or any more damage, or, hurt anyone in the process. But as Arco is kind of just wandering around, his amulet kind of clangs to something. He's being pulled into something, and before he knows it, he gets sucked into like a odd looking temple with a crystal in the middle. This crystal, this charm, calls out to Arco. He could feel its magical properties. But how would it help our little friend? But meanwhile, at Eternia, at the castle of Eternia, Adam and Man-at-Arms are having a conversation. Of course, Adam is basically saying, he's young, but being He-Man takes up a lot of his time, a lot of his social calendar, and also no one knows that he's He-Man. Pretty much everyone thinks that he's kind of a bumbling, slacker that doesn't really do anything when he's the greatest champion on Earth. Man-at-Arms, of course, lectures him about responsibility, about the gifts that he's been given, and how he needs to help the kingdom out. And of course, in the middle of this speech, the alarm goes off, and there is a fire, and this looks like a job for He-Man, so he pulls his sword and says, by the power of Grayskull, and yells, I have the power, and transforms into He-Man, defender of Grayskull. and he is ready for action. Now, as this fire rages on, the Eternian Fire Department is trying to put it out. They're trying the best they can to put out the fire, but it's spreading like mad. And of course, right when all hope is lost, as usual, the Masters of the Universe show up. And of course, it's Man-at-Arms, He-Man, and of course, Man-at-Arms guards. They wear the same armor as Man-at-Arms does. And of course, if you've seen the cartoons, He-Man always does something spectacular with his strength. He pulls up the foundation, and the water comes flying out, or this or that, or he'll pick up the city and literally just shake the flames out. That's just what He-Man does. But right before he could pull off anything, it just starts to snow. And of course, everyone thanks He-Man, but He-Man has no idea what's going on or why it's even snowing. But the fire is put out, so everyone is happy that the fire is out. That's the most important thing. And as they begin to wonder what's going on, Arco appears out of nowhere and says it was him, that he used his magic to put out the flames. And everybody's wondering what the hell is going on. Of course, Man-at-Arms is questioning him, and for the first time, Arco actually bites back at him and starts telling Man-at-Arms off. And everybody's surprised because Arco does not have these outbursts. But he's holding on to that crystal. And they figure that it's a crystal. It's doing something to Arco. And it seems to have some kind of like magnetic properties that attracts to people as it clangs on to Man-at-Arms armor. And this crystal seems to bring out aggression in magic users. And Duncan, that's the name of Man-at-Arms, decides that he ought to examine it to make sure that it's not dangerous. And also to make sure, like, to see what powers it actually has and what it actually does. Because things in Eternia are a wee bit different. You find a magic crystal, one does tend to want to examine it. Because in this world, science and magic run parallel to each other. So as they go off, crystal in hand, and Man-at-Arms goes off to do his thing, Arco's, of course, in tow, because he's kind of wondering what the charm was and maybe he could keep it. But what they don't know is they're being spied on. They're being watched. And who's doing the watching, you might add? Well, I'll give you a hint. She's definitely evil. It's Evelyn watching, plotting. And she knows what the crystal is, and she wants it for herself. It's part of her diabolical plan. What is that plan? What's she up to? And how does she plan to take the throne from Skeletor? And then Grayskull, and become the ruler of Eternia? Well, we'll find out the next time. And I'll catch you on the flip side. Laters.